Hello everyone from 1WRESTLING.com. This is Bill Apter. Welcome to another face-to-face interview only here on 1WRESTLING.com. Steve Corino, welcome.
Hey everybody.
So you just got back from a tour of Japan. Tell us about it.
Oh, my 78th tour of Japan. So I was over there for 2 weeks for the annual like 0-1 tag team tournament, and it was fun. You know, it's just like Philadelphia weather. It's cold, it's rainy. You know, I come back to Philadelphia and it's cold and rainy. But
Well, what about wrestling news?
Wrestling news?
From Japan.
Let's see. Huh?
From Japan.
For 0-1, it's all the same. You know, we have Daichi Hashimoto, Shinya Hashimoto's son, is really starting to make the rise. And you know, he's such a young kid, and he doesn't even realize like how famous he is right now. So
how old is he?
They say he's 19, but I think he's really 17.
Wow.
Yeah, because he's still doing school and everything like that.
Does he look like his dad?
Luckily, no. He looks more like, yeah, no, he's tall and thin, maybe 160 pounds right now.
Right.
Kicks like his dad, though. Holy crap. Yeah, he kicked me, I don't know, somewhere around like 30 times in one match. And I kept screaming. I'm like, oh my God, will you just stop kicking me so hard? And Akiyabona was his partner laughing on the other side.
Does he use the chops like his dad? Because I remember seeing your chest many times after those chops.
Yeah, and he's trained in kickboxing and a little bit of jiu-jitsu, so he's got some submissions. But he's a kicker. You know, he's just like his dad. He's a little high flyer right now because he's a junior heavyweight. But I definitely think he's gained 20 pounds since he debuted in March. So I definitely think in the next year or two you're going to see him eventually bump up to like the heavyweight division.
What does he weigh now? I
would say like 160, 165. You give him a couple years, he's gonna, he'll be 200, 215. But he looks good. He's a tall, good-looking kid, like real good-looking face. So, the girls love him.
In general, how's business doing in Japan?
Yeah, it's not what it was, 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It's getting better. I mean, you have 0-1's very hit or miss depending on like what city we're in. You could say Tokyo's been good lately, but Nagoya is down. Mito City was good, and Gifu was so. So it's definitely hit or miss. It's a lot better than it was 2 or 3 years ago, though. 2 or 3 years ago, I was wondering if we were going to even continue on.
Are a lot of the old school fans still coming to the matches?
Every once in a while, I would say like at your Cork and Hall maybe, but it's a whole brand new thing of fans. With Masato Tanaka and Sanjiro Otani. You got to remember that the Kawadas, the Misawas, the Hashimotos, they're all gone. I mean, Kawada's still alive, but he's not wrestling anymore. So like all the old guard is almost Muda's every once in a while. So that old guard is gone. Now you got that new guard of like Tanahashi and Nakamura from New Japan and Sawama from All Japan. 0-1's got Kohei Sato. So it's a big youth movement right now. So I would say Japan's in like a big transition.
Okay. All right. Now, one of the reasons that, and we'll talk more about Japan in the weeks coming up, and we appreciate you giving us the news from there. One of the big items that you and I wanted to discuss, pretty soon, the old ECW, the Asylum, the House of Hardcore. I mean, that's no more. They're not going to be, the building's going to be there, but the people that took over the ownership are going to put a restaurant and make it into a concert venue. No more wrestling after another few weeks. So your feeling on this?
It's surprising because you always wonder like how long it was really going to last. I guess they started running shows in there in '93 when Paulie started the shows there in '93. So it's had almost a 19-year run. It's an old building. It's so much better than it was when I was in ECW. I go in there and I tell people, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is 100% more clean than it was when I was in ECW.
Oh yeah, that stink isn't there anymore.
Right? Yeah, but it is, and it used to be so dirty.
But it was a good
even
stink.
The nice locker room.
It was a good stink.
It was good stink. It was wrestling. It was a great place to hold wrestling, and there are a lot of great memories that I have there. you know, even going back to debuting in ECW in late '98, my debut was there, and you know, all the times that ECW ran there, you know, I went there as a fan in, you know, '93, '94, you know, just training as a wrestler. I went there. I was there the night that Shane threw down the belt. You know, I was training to be a wrestler. I may have actually had a couple matches by then, but yeah, the night that Shane threw down the NWA belt, and you know that whole you know, ECW chant was really started. You know, I was in there like as a fan, and it was crazy.
So if you could write a even though they're not tearing the building down, but if you could write the gravestone for the wrestling fans on there, what would it say?
Oh.
Yeah.
It would say probably the best place in the U.S. to see a real professional wrestling show.
Yeah.
Yeah, there wasn't any real bad seats, and you know, I really haven't followed the companies that run there now, but even then, even like what I've seen on like YouTube or quick things on DVDs, the fans are still a part of the product, whether it be CZW or Chikara.
Right.
You know, the fans are a part of the product. You don't get that in every building.
No, the most interactive, fan-friendly building.
Right. Yeah. You know, some buildings are. It's okay. People come to watch wrestling. When you went to the ECW Arena or the Asylum, you were a part of the show, whether you bought a ticket or whether you were getting paid or whether you were a security guard or, you know, helping out at the merchandise table. Yeah. It was like the second that you walked into that building, everybody was talent. Everybody was involved somehow. And that's what it's going to be the shame, because, you know, the next generation of fans, you know, people that go there monthly, whether it was CZW or Chikara or Dragon Gate USA, Evolve, they don't get the chance to be like, to bring their kid and go, hey, my goodness, you know, you should have been here 10 years ago when this happened, or, you know, I saw Cage of Death, you know, I don't even know what number they're on.
It's the history. It's the history.
Exactly. And there's history. It's not just ECW history. It's, you know, CZW history, Evolve, Dragon Gate USA history, Chikara history.
So many indies ran there.
Oh, so many indies have run there and run good shows there. You know, MLW had a fun one in there once.
God, Jim Crockett and Paul Heyman and Eddie Gilbert.
Yep. All in the same building. I mean, you know, you go back to ECW when Jerry Lawler and Jim Cornette were in the ECW arena together. Sure. Adding, you know, it's a lot of history, and it's a shame. I feel bad for the guys that, you know, work there monthly, and, you know, the fans that go there monthly. It's one less place for them to work. It's one less place that, you know, the fans get to watch the wrestling that they want to, because the companies that run there now, you know, they have a real loyal fan base. And,
oh yeah, Evolve, Dragon Gate, but the whole point here though is it's one of the few classic arenas that was still, you know, hosting the fans.
Yeah, and you know, and it was a crap hole, but it was our crap hole. You know,
it was our crap hole.
Yeah, like, you know, there's you equate it to Japan. You look at Cork and Hall, and everybody's run there for 30, 35 years, and it's rundown place and everything. But if they tore that down, people be like, "Oh my God, that was our crap hole." You know, there's going to be nicer places that they can go to and stuff like that, but it was the ambiance of what the ECW arena, the Asylum, it was, and it's going to be a shame to see it go down.
It really will. Steve Corino, we're just about out of time, and I want to remind the fans that Steve Corino will be with us periodically as a guest here with a brand new segment, no matter where he is in the world. Tell us real quickly before we wrap up, what have you got coming up?
This Friday night, live on Internet Pay-Per-View, we got ROH's Final Battle. Myself versus Kevin Steen. Hell Has No Honor.
Now,
and
what day?
Plus, you got a couple other good matches.
What day do we talk about in case people are watching this afterwards?
Oh, then you can watch the replay on GoFightLive.tv.
Okay.
You can also visit me at WorldOfCorino.com. New Year's Eve, I'll be with the Clowns. Yep, Steve Corino is going to wrestle for Juggalo Championship Wrestling.
Oh,
and
right. Where?
Worcester, Massachusetts on New Year's Eve. Colby is going to spend New Year's Eve with the Insane Clown Posse, which
now,
is...
you know I'm a Juggalo, right?
Really?
I was at their Legends show. I was their backstage broadcaster, and yeah, I'm a Juggalo. I mean, I became one of them.
I like them. It's going to be fun. It's going to be something different. I've never done a JCW show before. But yeah, fans can go see my schedule at worldofcorino.com. There's also some comedy stuff on there. Click on the YouTube page. You know, Don't comment. I don't put comments in there. I'm very insecure, so I don't put comments. And follow me on Twitter at Steve Corino, almost at 13,000 followers now, which makes me feel like a lot until I look at Tommy Dreamer. He's got like 100,000.
I'm one of yours.
I'm one of yours, but you don't tweet enough.
Well,
tweet more.
No, we'll up that. And thank you for being here on 1WRESTLING.com. Steve Corino, Bill Apter. We'll see you at the